When I first started, I knew that I was working in higher education, but I didn't know how to work within the field, like what I was doing. I didn't have direction. When I first came to Princeton, I was working in the Department of Spanish and Portuguese, and I would send students abroad. And when you get that student who's never been abroad before, and then they come back and they're like, it was the best experience ever, that has been like the most amazing part. I started getting more empowered, not only by the faculty around me, but the students. And I've had a lot more direction, and I know what I want. I know what I want career-wise. And I feel like when I first started, I knew I had a job, but I didn't know I had a career. I would just want to like empower my students. I want them to know that when they leave here that Princeton, yeah, you have the degree, but you also have a friend in me. And that's one of the things that's kind of, you know, made the 10 years here kind of amazing.
The relationships I've developed over the last 15 years of Princeton have meant the world to me. I have absolutely loved working with every single staff member and faculty member and our students. That's the biggest component for me, is the people component. I belong to the Latino Princetonians ERG. That's a fabulous group, and I've been able to meet all kinds of people who I wouldn't normally be able to interact with on my daily schedule here. We've participated in Dia de los Muertos events, several different lunches, and I've really enjoyed that process. During my 15 years at Princeton, I am most proud of every class day ceremony I've ever been lucky enough to participate in. I've gotten to know all the students very well, and their success is my success, and I just love seeing them achieve what they wanted and move on to bigger, better things. It is an integral part of the mission, I think, and it's something that gives me a lot of joy.
I started as a major gifts fundraiser here 15 years ago. What I do impacts students, what I do impacts faculty, administrators, staff. So it's incredibly satisfying when you see research breakthroughs, or when you see a student come to Princeton who may not have had a chance, but because of scholarship money that you were able to raise, they're now benefiting from a Princeton education. And so I do feel like I make a difference. Princeton was actually different than what I expected. I worked for another Ivy League school before coming here, and I just sort of assumed that it would be very similar, but it's very different. There's a collegiality here and a closeness here that I think doesn't exist at many places. I count some of my best friends as fellow employees, whether it's in advancement or through the athletic department where my wife works. I've always felt supported in my work. I've always felt that there's an opportunity to grow, and learning and growing every day is important to me, and Princeton provides that.
The position that I have right now, I think, is an integral part of the larger mission of the university. You know, these grad students work very closely with world-renowned researchers, scientists, faculty members, and I do believe that I am helping the next generation of this world-famous researcher and scientists. In the 5 or 7 years that they've been here, you've helped them go through those milestones, you know, making sure that all their requirements are met, all their grades are in. I also am the person processing their degrees, and all sorts of things like that. It's kind of like a very rewarding time for me, because you can see that what you're doing really, really has a great impact on that person. There's this tremendous support from all aspects of, you know, your life, whether it be personal, whether it be professional. There is this feeling of belonging, like a sense of community, a sense of we're family here, and, you know, come and join us.
I'm coming up on celebrating 50 beautiful years at Princeton. There's been so many wonderful things that has happened to me here. I belong to the chapel organization. I sing with the chapel choir. I've traveled the world with them, and I've learned so much from all of the colleagues here till it's just overwhelming sometimes. I've been on committees with presidents, deans, and they all treated me like I was part of the team. And my colleagues from working in facilities, from the carpenter shop to the key shop, the mason shop, the paint shop. It's just a wealth of knowledge. One of the main things that we pride ourselves in doing is being open to new ideas. And being open to new ideas, to me, is growth. That keeps us pushing forward with the mission of Princeton. Fred Borsch was the former dean here at the chapel. He wrote an article in his book about me. And he says, here's a book for you. And he thumbnailed the page in which the paper was, what the article was. It was interesting. He just called me the guy that's always there. It was nice to be recognized, so to me, yeah, it's very gratifying.
The one word that describes Princeton to me is transformative.
Stability.
Community.
Camaraderie.
The one word to describe what Princeton means to me, that is love. This is my family. This is where I am. That's love.